Hello everyone, welcome back to Byte Masters Academy. This is our 9th lesson in the C programming series. In the last video, we learned about keywords, data types, variables, and wrote our first Hello World program. Today, we're going to focus on input and output in C programming, how to display data, and how to take input from the user. In C programming, we use two main functions for input and output. Printf for printing output, scanf for reading input. Both of these functions are defined in the stdio.h library. What is a library? A library or header, like stdio.h, is a file that contains declarations for functions and macros you can use in your program. Including the header with include stdio.h tells the compiler about the input and output functions that mean their names, return types, and parameter types, etc. For example, printf, scanf, puts, getChar, and more. Without including the correct header, the compiler may warn or fail because it doesn't know those functions' signatures. That's why at the top of every C program, we include this line. In main, this is the starting point of the programmer. Curly braces define the scope of the program body. Return 0 tells the operating system that the program ended successfully. Every statement ends with a semicolon. Before we print values, a quick reminder from the previous video, you already saw data types such as int, float, double, and char, and how to declare variables. Printing just displays those values, so recall what each type holds. Integer holds whole numbers, float and double holds decimal numbers, char holds single character, and string holds array of characters. Let's see line-by-line explanation. Includes the standard input and output library, so we can use the printf function. Defines the main function where program execution begins. Declares an integer variable named age and assigns it the value 25. Prints the text age and equals sign to the console. Format specifier that tells printf to display the integer value stored in age. So the final output will be age equals 25. Ends the program successfully and returns control to the operating system.
Here, %d is the format specifier for an integer. Printf replaces %d with the value of age. Output: age equals 25. Printing a float and double. %f for float. %lf for double. \n prints a new line. Printing characters. %c for character. Printing strings. %s for string. Taking input with scanf. Includes the standard input and output declarations, so you can use printf and scanf. Program entry point. Execution starts here. Declares an integer variable named age. Memory is reserved to store a whole number. Prints a prompt to the console asking the user to type their age. Reads formatted input from the keyboard. %D tells scanf to expect an integer, and age passes the address of the variable age, so scanf can store the typed value into that memory location. Prints the value stored in age back to the screen. Ends the program and signals success to the operating system. Short explanation of scanf. Scanf is a standard library function that declared in stdio.h, not a language keyword. Its basic job: read formatted input from stdin and store scanned values into variables you provide. The first argument is a format string, which tells scanf what types to expect. Subsequent arguments are pointers, addresses where the values should be stored. For simple variables, you pass the address using and for arrays, you pass the array name, which decays to a pointer. Scanf returns the number of items successfully read, useful for error checking. For instance, int n equals scanf %d and age. N will be 1 if an integer was read, otherwise 0 or end of file. Important: scanf stops reading a string at the first whitespace. For reading lines with spaces, use fgets. We'll cover that later. For reading characters after other inputs, it's common to use a space before %c in the format to skip leftover whitespace or new line characters. Reading float and double. Reading a character. That extra space before %c is important to skip unwanted new lines. Reading a string. %c reads a string until space. If you want full sentences with spaces, later we'll use gets or fgets. Passing input to output. Example program all together. So that's how we use printf and scanf in C to work with integers, floats, doubles, characters, and strings. Now you know how to take input from the user and show it back as output. In the next lesson, we'll move into more exciting topics in C. Don't forget to practice these examples yourself. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to Byte Masters Academy, and share with your friends who are learning C programming. See you in the next video.